Yo, welcome to another video here today. Going to be bringing you my Season 1 Disc Priest Guide video. Probably long awaited. It's been a few weeks since my last few videos. I know I've had some for dummies. I know I've had some like off-season type of videos on just like how to play Disc, how to play Holy. Today is going to be my full-on guide for Disc Priest headed into Season 1. If you're new, drop a like, subscribe. I will be having a lot of gameplay videos coming out. I will be... If you hear my dog, sorry, he's very needy when I start talking. But yeah, make sure you subscribe. A lot of gameplays. Going to be pushing for Glad this season. So less guides, more real gameplay videos. And that's the game plan. So let's start off with the kind of like the flow of like what I'm going to be doing here today. So where is Disc Priest kind of right now and how does it feel? What I have here is, so I think we're one of the best healers in the game based off of just like playing skirms. Is all that we can really kind of do right now. So skirms, Disc Priest feels really good based off all the patch notes and everything. We feel great as well. We get a slight buff. We do get a slight buff here on Tuesday, so I think that's going to put us in a real good spot, especially with like our penance bolts doing a little bit more defensive healing, which is good for our shields, as well as a little, like I think it's like a 40% buff when it comes to Radiance as well, which is huge. So appreciate those buffs. It's going to be a great time. Now, I think we'll probably be like the second best healer. I don't know how Monk's going to be, maybe H-Pal, but I think we're going to be one of the best healers, high A tier going into S tier for 3s, solo shops, and 2s. Now, best racials when playing Priest. Maybe you're new to Priest, or maybe not, and you maybe just want to do a race change. So I think there's two. I think there's two that are the best, and the rest are for the vibes, right? Gnomes are for the vibes, all right? Like, you don't care. My dog is insanely... You can hear him. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous once I start talking. Yes, gnomes for the vibes. Now, number one, for undead. Murloc says it is undead priests. Me personally, I think night elves. But you can't go wrong with undeads or night elves. Undead, from like my other videos that you saw, I was like a main undead priest. And I really loved that, like the trinket, the secondary trinket that I ran. Well, that you get as a racial. Will of the Forsaken's what it's called. Basically, somebody fears you, you can get out of that fear, and you don't waste your cooldown on the trinket. Like, that was huge. And I think we're going to see a lot of priests. I do think that's going to be what we kind of run into, is running into a lot of priests. So I bet it's still probably going to be extremely solid. Now, on Night Elves, you get Meld. Meld is insane. I think Shadow or Night Elves are probably like the most played like class or race for like higher up games because of how good Shadow Meld is. It basically gets you out of combat. And being out of combat, multitude of different things. I'm going to take a drink real quick. But for like a multitude of different things when it comes to 2s and 3s. So, number one is, let's say you're getting targeted and there's a cyclone, or it's going to be a sheep or a fear. You can meld, gets you out of combat, and they can't, it'll basically interrupt their cast. Right, so that's huge. But then also you got fade, because they're gonna do it twice, is what I've noticed. You meld, interrupt, and then you fade, and you keep moving to pillar. Or vice versa. You fade the first one, and then you meld the second one. Either way, that gets you out of 2. Now, the other thing that you can do with that as well, this is on a 2-minute cooldown. You need a drink. We are very mana deprived, right? And so when a drink happens, meld, get behind pillar, and drink. 3s, it's a little bit tougher to do. But if you got a solid team playing with you that can hold them off, great. But when you're playing 2s, it's very easy to get there. If you watch like a lot of my older videos, especially like the Inside the Mind of a Disc Priest, I would stand here until I could get a drink, and then I would drink. Whereas now I can just meld and start drinking. And so, huge, which is why I really prefer the Night Elf over the Undead. You couldn't go wrong either way. Once I hit Glad, I might honestly still keep the Night Elf, because honestly, look at me. Like, I look filthy right now. Like, this is elite. My Mog set is sick, and you couldn't tell me different. But I would go Gnome. Gnome is for the vibes. I love Gnomes. Best race in the game. Now, talents. We're getting to talents here. So, not a lot. I don't think this left has changed too much. What I'm going to do is I'll copy this build. I'm going to put it in the description. I'm also going to put it in my Discord. So either way, you're going to have it regardless. But with this build here, the biggest noticeable changes are going to be obviously your Apex talents. Make sure you got that rank 3 Void Shield. You get that by basically just casting Penance over and over and over again. Once I have some more. Void Shield is super good. If you haven't been playing, what it does is basically your whole team gets a shield instead of just one person. So everybody gets that shield. And it's a solid big shield. Like, this is huge. And then also, too, it reflects 25% of damage taken to enemies. So it's a stronger shield, and everybody gets it. Always have that up and running. And you just get it by casting Penance. The other big change is, so me personally, I've tested out a few different builds here. This is the one that I am the happiest with. And I avoid this right-hand side. I was having this at first, especially like the Shadow Fiend, where your death will pop this up and it just kind of chases them around and keeps hitting them. Honestly, didn't really like it too much. Kind of rolled over more on this left-hand side here for one Shadowman. I think this is new. It should be new. I've never seen it till midnight. But Shadowman, so when you cast Pain, and you have Pain on everybody, and let's see if this works. I'm also going to cast Penance just to see. Oh, there's your shield. Void Shield. It shields all 3 allies. So, boom, boom. We both got that. And then you also see Shadowmen now came up. That's from these Pains. Shadowmen, basically, it's kind of like a hot, but it's a big initial burst, and then it's a hot. And as we read this, your next flash heal to Shadowman wraps an ally in shadow, which heals for 52,000, but at a price. The ally will take a certain amount of damage every 1 second until they have taken total damage from all combat. This is a big heal. You want to use those basically kind of like, one, whenever you have it, but two, like if my health was at like 50%, like I'm already going to be casting flash heals anyway. But flash heals seem a little weak. Not going to lie, they do feel slightly too weak. But when you have that mend, when you have the mend up and going, it is a big heal. It's like a solid, nice little buff. Right? And boom, 97k. Obviously, it's on a dummy. It's not going to be the same here, but you know that's your big one. So yeah, I think that's really the biggest change here. I'm just trying to think here. Boom, 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 boom. That makes sense. You want to have all 4 at the bottom on this left-hand side. You probably could swap between Benevolence and Focus Power, depending on the comp. Maybe you want to run Impure, remove all disease effects, but probably not. You want to make sure that you have Psychic Voice. Nobody cares about Void Tendrils, but I do see people running it. Maybe in 2s if you're playing a warrior, you want that. Or like any physical melee that's going to be on you non-stop. Throw that on for 2s. I like the 30-second cooldown. Let's see. Those are going to be the big ones, I do believe. If you don't like this, you don't have to use this. I've seen people not run that. You could also go into Searing Light, so your Penance Bolt sears enemies for 20 seconds. Over 20 seconds. Me personally, I'm not going to do it. But as you see, it's now damaging over the next, whatever, like 20 seconds is what it says. Me personally, I'm not going to run that. I'm going to keep up with the Void Mend. PvP talents. Again, this is going to be very similar to your my last video. Still Dark Arc, Bolt Radiance, and Phase Shift. Those are going to be your big two. These are mandatory, and then your Dark Arc is going to be debatable. A lot of people are playing Psychic Shroud. You will almost see this in a lot of your games. I do not run that. I think it is dumb, so I won't run this. Dark Arc. I think Absolute Faith is also case-by-case scenario. But I like Dark Arc for that extra 10%. Inner Light, a lot of people are running as well because you do increase your spell damage and atonement healing by 10%, so it's a little bit stronger. Purification, if you want to run 2 charges. And honestly, I've been thinking about running this a lot. I think, again, like I said, this one is where it's going to be hit or miss, so you can change a lot. Probably comp dependent as well. Inner Light is probably like the most used, and then Dark Arc. Sorry, I think Inner Light, Psychic Shroud, and then Dark Arc is what like Murloc is going to say. I prefer Dark Arc again for the damage. I'm playing RMP, Fire Mage, Dark Arc, PI. It's game over. So that's what I'm running. Psychic Shroud, you can dispel. If you don't know, you can dispel that. So it's like a priest goes in, like on the other team, he hits a fear, and then he thinks he's slick because he's gonna, you know, dodge the next CC. You can rip that right off of him. So like for me, if I do that and then it's ripped off, well then what's the point of that, like that talent point? You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm not using that. Rotation. Rotation's gonna be very straightforward. You want to make sure you got your plea up on them. Reason being, that's your atonement up, right? You don't have to do that. I do that at about typically beginning of games. Sometimes I don't, but I try to at least have the atonement up. And then honestly, so this is RMP. This is what I've been playing a lot lately. So this is going to be based off of kind of like how I'm letting it rip. All right, I'm going in immediately, Evenge, Radiance, and then I'm going to just be penancing until Combust pops PI, and then shield your team. And you just keep penance, 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 penance. Make sure your dots are up on everybody. Up, your team is weak. Void shield, penance, 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 Radiance, so everybody gets a nice little buff. You know, and then Void Man, Flash you, whoever, boom. Shield again. Now some of your like your big cooldowns are gonna be like your pain suppression. So like for me, Warlock, or sorry, not Warlock, but like my mage will be nuked, depending on the classes. Go ahead, pop that pain suppression, right? That's 50% damage reduction. That's huge. And the reason why, this is like a big cooldown. It's a 3-minute cooldown, and you only get 2 of them per game. Go for 3 minutes, right? Your other big cooldown is going to be your UP, your Ultimate Penance. Ultimate Penance, you can use it offensively or defensively. Offensively, I've used it when everybody's line of sight, and I can go ahead and beam somebody down, right, and help my team. Defensively, my team is so weak and about to die. You pop it, it's a quick heal to get everybody up and back going again. Those are like, that's like your rotation, honestly. Like it's pretty straightforward. A majority is going to be done by penance. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. Obviously, you don't have it at all times, so that's whenever you have a quick little flash heal here and there, it's going to come into play. Macros. I do have macros written down. The only macro I run is for my feathers, and I have it just to cast on myself. That macro is going to be show tooltip, Angelic Feather, /cast at player, Angelic Feather, stop spell target. If you need help ever making macros, ChatGPT, tell it what you want it to do. It'll create you your macros. Like, it's super easy. Comps. The comps. I have this written out, so I'm just going to bring this over here. I've been kind of like following this little guide here the whole time. Best comps for Disc Priests. So in 2v2s, this is my personal preference. This is, but overall as well. I think the 1 and 2 is going to be your preference. Disc Priest and Rogue. last like in the War Within, I ran I ran Disc Priest and I ran Assassination Rogue. Now I'm running Disc Priest and Sub Rogue. Whatever rogue is good, that is your comp, and that is your team. That is what I run 99% of the time. That's why I have it number one. But honestly, Disc Priest and Hunter is one of the best combos at the game. You couldn't go wrong. I'd say if you don't know anybody and you have to go in LFG and you want to win games and have your best chance, what I have learned is that WoW is a very comp dependent game, and comps like complement each other so well, or classes do. Like last season, I would play just like anything, or like as I've been learning the last 2 seasons, I would just play anything and everything. But like the game is night and day difference whenever you actually have that complementary piece to you, like Disc Priest and Beast Hunter or Beast Mastery is insane. It's so stupid. So like any hunter, either like, you can run all 3 hunters. Disc could probably be any rogue. Just play the best rogue. If you do this, you're gonna easily climb. If you're looking just to get 1800, this right here, you could do that in a day. All right, like 1800, you just want the elite set. Run these comps in 2s, you'll get there just fine. 3s. Yeah, now I'm gonna put a star on this one because that's what I'm running. So RMP, Disc Priest, Mage, Rogue, Fire Mage. By the way, right now it's insanely busted. Fire Mage is insane and is getting buffed. So right here is the best comp for priests. Again, I want to preference this or put like a little asterisk here. My opinion. Okay, this is my opinion from playing the game. Number 2, Disc Priest, Ret, and Marksman. Marksman could probably also be like a Beastmaster too, but Marksman's insane. This right here is so good, and I think Ret is getting a small buff instead of getting nerfed, which they should be nerfed to the ground. But Ret is still here. This comp is a lot of fun and it's super good. That's why I have it number 2. And then your Disc Priest, UDK, which is Unholy DK, and Marksman. Marksman right now seems so strong. I don't know what it's going to look like on Tuesday, but I think it's still going to be insane. The Death Knight, I don't know again. I didn't really study too much about like the whole tuning. All I looked at was my Priest, Rogue, and Mage, to be honest with you. But like, yeah, like this comp here, super good. I had a lot of fun playing this at the end of last season. It's busted. So like this is really good. Unreal sustain damage, always on everybody. Pull in healers, get everybody kind of just in bad positioning. Marksman's gonna nuke everybody. He's got a silence on the healer, he kills. Right, so it's like this right here is insane. Great team. Now, big tips going into the arena here. All right, so Disc Priest, fantastic. Best racials, Nelf Undead. Talents, everything's going to be copied down below. We walk through that. Healing rotation, walk through that. Cooldown management, walk through that as well. Maybe not as in-depth, but we did walk through it. Macros, my 1. Comps, and then my tips here. So, like, Dispel Magic. This is something that I'm learning. I'm going to move this over here real quick. So, like, this is what I have been kind of, like, just continuously improving upon myself, right? So, like, my progression was the start of the War Within is when I said I'm going to be serious about PvP, and I was, like, a DPSer. Season 2, again, mainly a DPSer all the way until April of last year. April 2025 is when I said I'm going to become a healer, and that's when I learned healing. Immediately got to 2.1 in Season 2. And then last season, we hit 2.3. Did not quite get that elite. I got 2.3. And so, like, I'm continuously learning over and over and over again, and, like, the newest stuff, like, that's really going to be game-changing. Now, like, my core audience is a little bit newer. people learning the game or just kind of wanting to get some like Disc Priest info. So if you already know this stuff, huge. I recently picked this up and learned it. Didn't know everything I could do, but like I've been playing it. It's gonna be this Dispel Magic right here. So especially if you're newer and you don't know, I never dropped this in my past videos. Dispel Magic is going to be dispelling magic on the enemy target, removing one beneficial magic effect. Now, that could be like the most frequently, like probably the easiest to know is like Freedom. Let's just say Freedom as an example. Like you're playing a Rat Paladin, he pops Freedom, his whole team gets it. You can rip that off and get rid of that Freedom. Now, one thing to note about Dispel Magic. Dispel Magic, one, you can spam it all day long, but look at the mana. It will drain you down. Alright? That's one thing to take note of. Two, just because you're trying to rip Freedom off doesn't mean you press it once and it's going to take Freedom. Sometimes it takes 4 or 5 times of pressing it because it could have 4 or 5 different hots or different buffs, and you're ripping those off. You're only taking one buff at a time. So you got to spam that. That was like my biggest learning thing, was like, oh, this is broken. It's not working. So I didn't really use it too often. I was still able to push. Like, it's not like the biggest deal, but I think it's the small things at this point that's going to make a difference whenever you're trying to push like that higher rating, and just to get to that next level is to really be able to master that class, right? And so magic that you can dispel: Alter Time, Mage, pops Alter Time before his go. You can rip that off, so that way he can't go back and get his health. The Blazing Barrier, how they, the fire guys have their fire shield, or the ice guys have their little ice shield. You can rip that off. If you're playing like a priest, like myself, you can rip off shield and fortitude. You can rip both of those off. You can rip PI off. You can also rip Psychic Shroud. You take that right off as well. When you're playing paladins, you can take off Freedom, Bop, Spell Warding, Druids, all of their hots. Warlocks, a little green shield that's a PvP talent that reflects everything back. You can rip that off. Shamans, you can rip off their Earth Shield, Wind Fury, their hots as well, like Riptide. So like, start like practicing. If you're newer, like I know my audience is going to be a little bit newer. That's kind of like how I grew this small channel up a little bit these past few weeks, which I do appreciate. I love you guys all coming in. Again, real quick shout out to drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already, if you're here 22 minutes in. But yeah, if you already know that, fantastic, right? But if you're newer, start dropping those. Like, practice, use them, like throw them into your rotation whenever you see something. It makes all the difference. If you're hitting a go on somebody and they're going and you're playing like an R Druid, rip all those hots off so that way you get rid of all that like healing, and just go for the kill. Now in arenas, that's one tip, like dispel magic. The other big tip that I have is going to be holding your trinket. Hold that bad boy right here. It's what? How long is that? It's a 1.5 cooldown, right? Yeah, it's a 1.5. Do not force it. That's like one of the biggest tips that I can tell you. That's something that I see all the time. You got to trust your team. You got to trust you get sapped and then you pop it. Oh, brother. All right, like you're done for. Like you gotta trust your team. You have to trust your team. Hold trinket. Honestly, I don't know when to tell you to use it. It is literally the most like instinctual thing for me that I don't even think about. I sit there, I hold it, and this is what I do. Okay, like especially those that are gonna be playing solo shuffles. You're not in voice comms. You're not talking to anybody. I throw warnings up when I'm in CCs. You got to tell your teammates something. Especially if they don't have many CC, that's going to pop up and say, healer in CC. And I don't get that because I'm a healer. But like, you're going to want some way to let your team know that you're in a CC and hold that trinket. If your team is looking like it's about to die, then yeah, spam your trinket so that way you can go in and get a heal off real quick. but don't pop it too early. You pop it too early, you're done. All right, like that's my biggest piece of advice: is save your trinket. Be smart with it. Don't force it. 2 is learning your CC chains. And again, I'm just bringing this back to the guys that know how to play the game. Like, you know, this is going to be a little bit for the newer guys out here, just somebody trying to learn healing. But learn your CC chains, like especially whenever you go in with teams. Ask your team, try and figure out your DRs. Like learn the DRs. That's going to be huge. So that way you guys don't overlap, right? Like for me, our team is going to go in sap, cheap, sheep, whatever. That row. All I know is I sit there and I fear off sheeps. I follow up on that sheep. All right, and it's going to win us the game. And then obviously you're going to have, like, for me personally, I love triple fears. I love this. Somehow, some way, they're all grouped up together and getting a triple fear. Just make sure, like, you have, like, your S arena, so that way you can see the team's trinkets. You want to make sure that you know that nobody's got a trinket available. And then you just run in, drop that fear, get back, and go and finish the kill. And then voice comms. If there's anything you're serious about pushing rating, get in voice comms. And again, that might be to the newer players. Once you get like up there, you don't really need voice comms, I don't think. If you're just trying to hit 2.1, you don't need voice comms. Like it's pretty chill. Anything over that, I do think you probably need it. Like those games get sweaty, and like just making sure your runs and your chains are flawless and your goes go great. And then LFGs, right? Find your teammates, make friends, add them, enjoy the game. This is a brand new season. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So exciting. Like I'm so stoked for this season. Like Tuesday cannot come soon enough. And one thing that I did forget, I did not go over gear real quick. I apologize again that this is going down at 27. This is something that probably should have been at the beginning. So I apologize. Gear. Verse Mastery. Verse Mastery right here. Focus on these two. These are your big two. That's if you're running Oracle. I don't run Void. I don't like Void. X. Take that out the game. I don't like it. I've never liked it. It's going to be super good in 2s. Okay, it'll be good in 2s. I don't like it. So yeah. Mastery, Versatility, your big 2 that you're going to want to focus on. Right now for the greens, for some reason, it's a lot of haste. I don't know why they had haste on like everything almost, it felt like. Or at least on a decent amount. So make sure you focus on your versatility and mastery. When it comes to gems, I ended up buying the Versatile Amethyst, which is 12 mastery, 5 versatility. I got 2 gems for both my rings. And then on my neck piece, my precog, which is called a cognitive heliotrope. Took me forever to find it because I didn't know they changed the name to heliotrope. Why? Why did they do that? I don't know. But yeah, that's gonna be the gear. Very self-explanatory, very straightforward. Focus on mastery, versatility. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop a game. This was against a team of all Glads. Not like the most flawless game, but it was a decent game. The whole team was Glads. This is just skirms. It is what it is. But it's all that we got right now. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Enjoy the little game video, the game clip behind it. Drop a like, subscribe, comment. Comment if you made it this far. Comment your goals of what you're trying to achieve this season. Whether it's, doing the raid, or if it's, hitting 18, or if it's hitting 21, or if it's hitting, Gladiator and getting them out. I'd love to see, 1, how many people made it this far, but 2, just kind of the goals. Let's all push each other, motivate each other, get up there this season, because it's going to be a great year this year. Again, appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.